you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I news video. Now, I've only got a few news bits for you guys today, so I'm going to try and keep it pretty short for you. I know yesterday's news video was quite long. Hopefully you did check that out. It was also quite informative, I think. But today I'm going to try and keep it short. Now, before I get into the news, though, I did want to just update you again about the contest going on both Toy News International and Marvelous News, where we give away $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. If you've not checked those contests out, I highly recommend that you do. And I do have links to both of those contest details in the video description below. And then the other thing I wanted to update you guys on, I meant to mention this yesterday, but I forgot. And that is this weekend, this coming weekend, is the Fan Expo in Canada. And Hasbro will be at this convention, so they will be holding panels for Star Wars, Transformers, and Marvel Legends, or Marvel. And all three panels will be taking place on Friday, this coming Friday. So the Transformers panel is going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and the Star Wars panel, I think, is at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and then the Marvel panel, I think, is at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I'm just going off the top of my head, but I believe those are the times for each of those panels. And at each one, at least for the Transformers and the Marvel, there should be some new reveals. Star Wars, probably not, unfortunately. They had very little to show at San Diego Comic-Con, and then they showed nothing new at the unboxing convention. So I have a feeling it's going to be the same for this one as well. I don't really think we're going to get any Star Wars reveals until Force Friday, which isn't until October. But definitely should be some Marvel stuff. Usually at this convention, being it's in Canada, they like to debut any new Alpha Flight figures they're doing. Last year it was the Guardian. The year before it was Sasquatch. We've already got a Puck figure. So I do expect we might see a new Alpha Flight character revealed this weekend. There is a X-Force/Deadpool wave coming that's going to have the Strong Guys, the Build-A-Figure. That was announced at San Diego Comic-Con, and generally that's where they stick these Alpha Flight figures. So I don't know which character. Hopefully, I would love to see a box figure, but I think box should really be a Build-A-Figure if they're going to do them right. And so since we already know the Build-A-Figure for that wave, I doubt it's going to be box. My next choice that I would like to see is Shaman. I'd love to see a Shaman figure, but we could also see, North Star and Aurora. If they do the twins, I almost wonder if they wouldn't do them both in the same wave, kind of like they did with Cloak and Dagger. Or, we might see, we could, I guess, see a Vindicator, but that's almost an exact copy of Guardian, only it's a female version. It's Mac's wife, so I mean she plays a crucial role in the team, but I just feel like we just got Guardian last year, so hopefully they would wait a little while before we get Vindicator and they mix things up a bit. But we'll have to wait and see this weekend. One of the reveals could be one of the bits of news I have to talk to you guys about today, but before I get into that, like I said, as far as this weekend, we'll have to wait and see, but do tune in. And like I said, we're gonna try, if all goes well, we're gonna try and stream the Marvel panel and the Transformers panel live. So if you want to see it for yourself, and again, you never know with technology. Sometimes internet or Wi-Fi or cellular is just not strong enough to really stream them. So I'm not making any 100% guarantees. If we don't stream it, we'll definitely have images, and we'll type the news and report it for you guys. But we're going to try and stream those panels, so do try and tune in and check those out. And then usually they have the panel, they show slides, and then they put new stuff up in their booth, and then we'll show you pictures of that as well. So again, Friday, expect all that, and hopefully we'll see some cool stuff. Usually it's only for like Marvel, it's usually only like 2 or 3 figures that they show off, but again, hopefully there'll be some cool things. Okay, so let's get into the news. So first thing, one of the bits of news I have is kind of crappy, and the other news I have is pretty cool. So we'll start with the bad news. It's always good to get the bad news out of the way. And with it, it was announced today that it looks like things are falling apart with Disney and Sony over Spider-Man. So you may probably know that Sony Pictures still actually owns the rights to Spider-Man. The two studios had come to an agreement several years ago which allowed Spider-Man to start appearing in the MCU, and Disney helped Sony basically make better Spider-Man movies. Well, now everything's been going great. This last Spider-Man movie has become Sony's highest grossing picture just this past weekend, surpassing Skyfall, the James Bond movie, which was their previous highest grossing picture. And obviously Disney's been making tons of money off of all these Marvel movies and stuff. So, but apparently both parties have not been able to come to an agreement over a new deal, and things have fallen apart. Both parties have walked away. Now this news comes via Deadline. They're the first ones to report this, and according to them, essentially what happened was that Disney came to the table and said they wanted 50% of any Spider-Man movie going forward. The box office, they wanted the 50% of any proceeds made from any future Spider-Man movie that they work, that they do together, and possibly even get a cut of other Spider-Man universe type movies like Venom and such. And Sony basically just said no and walked away. And so this has been going on for a month or so, and now it's being reported that essentially everything's broken down, and that Kevin Feige, who had some creative input in the last two Spider-Man movies, will no longer, he's the Marvel Studios president, he will no longer have any dealings with the Spider-Man movies from Sony. So, which probably means that the next Spider-Man movie is going to suck. I mean, just to be quite frank, Sony really hasn't done a good Spider-Man movie since the first two original Sam Raimi movies, and then Homecoming and Far From Home. While I don't think were nearly as good as the original Spider-Man movie, I thought it'd been pretty good. And then we've had Spider-Man in the MCU, which is what I've really loved. Seeing him in Civil War, seeing him in Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. That to me is really been the plus of this deal between Sony and Disney. Now, what exactly, with all this, the Deadline article talks about, Feige no longer being involved with the, creative process of any future Spider-Man movies, but they don't really talk about what does that mean for any future appearances of Spider-Man in the MCU. I would assume that means if everything's broken down and a new deal is not struck, that means that we will no longer see Spider-Man in the MCU. But again, they don't specifically say that, so I won't say 100% that's the case, but that is my feeling, that if everything does break down, this Avengers Endgame is going to be the last time we see Spider-Man in an MCU movie. So, and I think that would be devastating. Yes, I think without Feige's involvement with Sony and the Sony movies are not going to be that good. But I also think if they can no longer feature Spider-Man in any of the big Marvel MCU movies, that's also going to be a major blow to Disney. So, I don't think this is a good thing. I blame both sides. I've seen people blaming Sony. I've seen people blaming Disney. But honestly, I blame both sides. I think both studios have made lots of money from these movies, and I think it's ridiculous to think that they can't come to some kind of agreement. Obviously, it's been beneficial to both sides, this collaboration between the two. So, like I said, it seems like this is just greed on both sides, probably some ego coming into play as well. And I think it's ridiculous that the overall product is going to suffer because these two studios can't come to an agreement. But, and maybe this is just a negotiating tactic, putting this out in the press and everything. One side is hoping the other will flinch. It's like a game of chicken, see who flinches first. But I don't know. But as it is, like I said, for me, I'm blaming both sides. I think both sides are equally to blame here. And at the end of the day, if they don't get something worked out, I think it's going to be disastrous for both studios. Okay, so now moving on to the next bit of news I have for you guys today. And this is better news. And it was a reveal of a new Marvel Legend figure. So, as I mentioned before, I'm wondering if this wasn't actually supposed to be revealed at this coming weekend's convention. But it leaked out, as it is, it leaked out on the Amazon Mexico website. As I understand, they really weren't supposed to have it up. Now, it seemed like when it went up, it was available. It was listing as ready to ship. And I'm guessing some people actually were able to purchase. It'll be curious to know if the thing actually ships to anybody. If you were able to snag one off the Amazon website, let me know in the comments section below if you get any kind of delivery confirmation or what. But as I understand it, these weren't really supposed to go up today. And I think, the Amazon website jumped the gun. Now, some of you seem to have thought this was an Amazon exclusive, and I don't have a 100% confirmation yet, but I do not believe it's exclusive to any one site. I believe this is another fan channel type exclusive, similar to the Cowboy Logan, Agent Anti-Venom, the Big Time Spider-Man and like, which essentially means that it will be available at multiple online e-tailers and retailers and such. So again, I don't think it's an exclusive. I think other websites will have it. So if you didn't get it off the Amazon website, you will almost 99% likelihood have another opportunity to get it at some point. And when I have those details, we will be sure to update you guys on Marvelous News. I think the figure, it's a Gray Hulk figure. It's reusing the first appearance, or the Hulk from the first appearance box set, the Wolverine and Hulk box set. It's that same body, which also was used in the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Hulk figure, only now it's been painted green or gray. And we get the shirt, which is from the box set, repainted, and then the bent up pipe, which comes from the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set. So the only thing new about this figure is I believe the head sculpt is new. I think that is a brand new head sculpt, and that he's been painted gray. So I don't know if this is supposed to be his first appearance. That's what some of you have indicated. To me, that head doesn't really look like the first appearance head sculpt, or how he looked in the very first comic. If you're not familiar, Hulk, when he was first hit by the Gamma Bomb, actually was gray, not green. And then very shortly afterwards became green, and then later down the road at times did turn back to gray. But his very first color was actually gray, and so I don't know if that's what this is supposed to represent. But to me, that head sculpt just really doesn't look like a first appearance Hulk. Toy Biz did one which looks, if you look at that head sculpt, that one looks more like how he did in the comics when he actually first appeared. But still, I think it's a cool looking figure. I don't think it's a bad looking head sculpt, and just as a general Gray Hulk, I think definitely this is a solid figure. Now, some of you are wanting a Mr. Fix-It figure, which to me that's a cool, one of the better incarnations of Hulk. That's when he became a Las Vegas bouncer and he wore the pinstripe suit and everything. So I definitely would love to see that. Toy Biz did that version back in the day, and I'm sure Hasbro will eventually get around to doing that version. But as it is right now, we're just getting the regular Gray Hulk. Okay, so that's it. Like I said, leave a comment. Let me know about the things I talked about today. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And of course, you can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram account. Be sure to check out the links to those contest details for the $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And check back this Friday for complete coverage of the Fan Expo in Canada. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.